stuff, I kind of have to look to physics with respect.
So what is the Big Bang, basically?
It doesn't have to be per se the Big Bang, but I have to hand the explanation for the existence of the physical universe to physicists to some extent. And the reason I have to do that is because they've proven themselves time and time again so absolutely on point on so many things.
There's a number of competing models with each can be proved using maths, using various things. In terms of the actual science of it, if you understand what science is the experimentation. Science is the study of the natural world or the physical world using observation, experimentation, and repeatability.
Yeah.
Now.
Hypothesis.
Yeah. That's we make up. Yeah, exactly.
But I would say that grounds out very importantly in the ability. People think that the power of science and religion is to discuss how we came to be here. No. The test of the power is how well it can predict the future. That's a very different test.
Yeah.
And that's why I have to go with science.
Yeah, but
because science consistently, I use this example a lot. That plane up there, right now.
Yeah.
The reason 300 people are risking their lives and sitting on it is they know that science can predict the future of how well the metal will hold together, the aerodynamics, the electronics, all of that stuff. They have fantastic confidence in, and rightly so.
Yeah.
And science predicts that future consistently again and again in a way that no other form, including religion, does.
Yeah.
And therefore, as a logical person,
I disagree with that. There's a few points you made, so I'm going to try and adjust them. With regards to that, the physics, how the plane works, how we get medicine, these things are, this is actual hardcore science. This is real science. We can test this. This is not speculative science, where we can postulate on what happened 13 billion years ago, 13.7 billion years ago. That's speculative science.
No, but I'm saying the test of its validity is not how well it explains the past, but how well its model of the universe projects into the future. And it's doing it all around right now.
But the Big Bang happened in the past.
I know.
And we're talking about how we came into existence.
I know, but if someone puts forward a theory X and I go, show me how powerful it is.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go biblical. You know Moses with the thing, Moses and they threw down the serpent, he did competition with the thing, okay?
Yeah, the stick.
What they did there was they went, okay, two competing ideologies, who's got the most powerful magic?
Yeah.
Now when I run that test between science and religion, when it comes to predicting the physical phenomenon in the universe, I find science wins hands down.
I think you've completely misunderstood the whole thing. This question on is there a creator or not, is that a scientific question? It's not a scientific question, that's the whole point. It's not even a scientific question. So
the question is, where did the physical universe come from?
Yeah, it's not. That's a philosophical question. So science is the study of the physical world, how the physical world operates.
Yeah.
Okay. Now there's certain assumptions within the scientific method that the universe exists, is that we can observe it, and that we can make, and it follows a rational order that we can explain and make hypotheses and make explain observations to each other.
There is a rational order to the material.
So if you're saying that everything can be answered by science and broken down by science,
I'm not saying that.
No. Hear what I'm saying. That's called scientism, and that would be basically trying to explain everything using science. So no. But hear my logic. So if I was to say to you, why someone very special in your life made you a cake? Why did they make you a cake? How would you explain that? I can say they made you a cake because they loved you. Okay. How would you explain that? Why they made you a cake using science? You looking at the cake, we can analyze it biologically, we can analyze the chemistry, we can analyze the physics and stuff, but will we ever get to the reason why or what agent created it? We wouldn't get to that conclusion. And I don't think there's I don't think they're contradictory.
You need to hear me on this point.
No. Let me just finish my point. Because I can explain how this cake came about using all of the sciences, the chemistry, the physics, the biology, but that does not negate that there's a rational agent behind it. So when we can explain, I can explain how the things work, the seasons, the photosynthesis in the plants and stuff like that. It does not negate that there is a rational agent. And if you was to go with the Big Bang model itself, that all matter came into existence 13.7 billion years ago, and what they postulate as to what could have been the cause for this, gravity or certain forces. Now, by definition, these forces would be outside the physical world. which...
No, that's an assumption now on your part.
No.
Not all
No.
scientists would agree with that.
No. So how would you explain... So how would you...
Because how do you come to the conclusion that there is an outside?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be outside.
You've gone outside.
No. Oh, this is not me, by the way. This is not my problem.
Yeah.
This is amongst scientists.
You just expressed it in a way.
No. It's been recorded. It's been recorded. Yeah. I said that they have a number of ways to explain this, and one of the ways they explain it is by saying that there was physical laws that pre-existed. So there's certain prominent scientists and cosmologists that say this. So people like Lawrence Krauss and stuff.
I know, but it's a very, very fine point. What you mean by pre-existing?
I'm not saying this. This is not my argument. I'm just simply highlighting that, okay, amongst certain scientists, and I did mention certain earlier, not all, amongst certain scientists, they would still have to escape, they would still have to fall into what they're escaping. They're still falling into something which by definition is supernatural. Because you're...
No.
You understand what I'm saying?
I am understanding. You're assuming I'm not.
Yeah, no. By saying that the physical world began 13.7 billion years ago, and the causation for that was the laws of gravity and certain physical laws.
It never began.
This, I'm telling you, Lawrence Krauss. I'll give you an example by name of a person.
I know there are some, but I'm not one of them.
That's fine. So what I'm saying is that just understand this world. We were not there to observe it, were we? Okay, so we can only, the science we can do is speculative science. It's not the same science as how the plane flies or how the medicine comes. This is speculative science.
You know, everything that you were saying, what I was going to say to you was the example you gave with the cake and someone giving it in love. Great example. I've used it myself to show the limitations of objective knowledge, and empirical science. You're right, the inner world of emotion, feeling and so on is to an extent off limits to science, but I picked very clearly the example for the minute to keep it simple of matter and energy, objects and the laws of motion and physics, and I used the plane. And what I'm saying is the question, how did the universe come into being, is not a phenomenological question necessarily. We can limit it for now to matter and energy, and clearly science has proven itself to have a mastery of that understanding, which is tested by its ability to predict the future of atoms and molecules in a way that no other art form does. So I have to give it some due credence with reluctance.
I don't think your conclusion follows.
I'm only doing matter and energy right now. I don't want to bring in moral criteria or the important stuff.
These are all things. These are all things. Any rational kind of problem with God or any moral problem with God that anybody may put forward, you're using your reason and you're using moral things. Now,
I'm not using moral for the minute. I'm trying to just.
That's fine. I'm okay. Let me just go back to your previous point. So with regards to you saying that because it works on the airplane and because it works in medicine, for example, that therefore we can now the same group of people that are saying this about the airplane they might rely on that. In another area, they're talking about something with a lesser type of evidence about something that happened 13.7 million years ago, which is more speculative science. It's not the same science.
Okay, there I think you've misconstrued their position. The statements they're making about how matter will behave in the future is based on their understanding of coherently explaining how it's behaved in the past. It's a continuum of understanding built on some very simple axioms, which reduces down to 4, actually 3 equations, possibly 2. And within the fairly near future, they'll almost certainly have 1 equation, which will then explain to you, with powerful predictive abilities, how matter and energy are going to interact and move in the future. And when they do that, we'll be left with a fascinating position where we'll all be going, but we've still got to work out how to live together. Because not the whole of the universe is about matter and energy. There's a whole moral, meaning, emotional dimension which religion engages with.
What in that takes you away from that natural inference of a creator? I don't understand. Why would there be a barrier to that?
Because it seems within their discipline that there are now models and arguments you can make that don't require external design, despite the fact that your statement that initially when you look at the world you think there is intelligent design is a totally reasonable reaction. But over time that starts to look less and less coherent, unfortunately.
I don't think that's the case. I think what it is that we've got certain philosophical assumptions. Now, when you do science with a certain philosophical assumption that there is no such thing as anything outside of the physical world, pure materialism, only matter and energy exist. There is nothing outside of matter and energy. If that's your starting point, then you can never actually try and understand if there's any kind of supernatural.
That's not my position.
Okay, so we're open to the fact that there are things outside of matter and energy. Is that correct?
Yes, clearly.
Yeah, so we're open to that?
Yeah.
Okay, now how would we demonstrate something outside of matter and energy?
It will be far more difficult.
Could we use science?
To some extent, yeah.
No.
Okay, the thing we're talking about is the world of subjectivity. So far we've dealt with objects, yeah, which is matter and energy, objectively quantifiable. You can measure them. They're not a matter of interpretation or opinion. They're self-sustaining, yeah?
Yeah.
That's what science and physics studies. The complexity is when we start studying the world of subjects, which is what I am, and I'm guessing you are, yeah? Then we have an inner world. Now, I have inner truths, I have inner feelings, but you can't know what I'm feeling. So we're guessing each other's inner world.
Yeah.
But the profound human dilemma is how to live and how to deal with these emotions,
Okay,
ideas, and
let me go back to my question.
Now, it does seem
How do we establish that, that if you're open to the possibility of something other than matter existing, how would we establish that? I asked that earlier.
Well, okay, I already have because I know I am. So I know that I have an inner world which science can't see or prove. Yeah?
Okay, so
I start from a position of absolute knowledge that there is more than just matter and energy
Exactly.
because I'm an experiential thing.
Exactly.
And I'm guessing you are as well.
Exactly.
And I'll move forward from that.
Exactly.
But I can't help but notice when I was dealing with just matter and energy and objects,
Yeah.
it was kind of easy and we didn't get all blurred.
Yeah.
And objectively, I noticed that the world of objects has a causal effect on me as a subject.
Yeah.
I got anaesthetized 3 days ago. All of my emotions and feelings, you'd be amazed how much you chuck an object in me and it will change my experience.
Yeah.
Seems to be, unfortunately, a causal relationship between matter and my psychology and emotions.
Yeah.
Now, although I feel like I'm a free-floating spirit in here, the evidence suggests that it's not quite that simple. The neurology of what creates me. I'm more mechanistic than I'd like to believe I am, but I don't want to fly from that unpleasant reality. I want to integrate.
So we're not. So our starting point is that we live in a physical world, a material world. Okay. Yeah. So we're not going to go to one extreme and deny any kind of material causes, and we're not going to go to the other extreme and say that only matter exists.
No, I'm not exactly good what I'm saying.
Yeah. So this is our starting point. So now for us to look at science, and which is only the study of the physical world.
Well, if it's studying the physical world and neurology affects psychology, then it's studying the mechanism of a thing which has a causal effect. It's like studying a piano's effect on music, yeah?
Yeah.
The music is not the piano, yeah? The music is a thing we like and has creationary synthesis and a whole load of ethereal properties, but it's caused by a piano, and in studying the function of the piano, you can tune it. So there's a relationship here between the piano, which is a metaphor here for objectivity, and music, which I'm using as a metaphor for subjectivity.
I think that's a very good example. That's a very good example because this was the actual motivation for the Muslims in Baghdad, for example. They would study and engage in science to see how the universe works and to study the handiwork of God. This was it. So I don't think that there's actually a clash of heads. For example, when Newton wrote his famous book on laws of physics, at the end of it he says, and now we can understand, and I wrote this book so now that we can understand how God operates, how God works. So I don't think there's a clash. I can explain the cake using chemistry, physics, biology, but that doesn't show me why it was made, or it doesn't negate that a knowledgeable agent made it.
Right.
So by using your piano example, we can study the piano, we can study what comes from it, but why is this music appealing to some people and that is not appealing? What makes all these things are immaterial? Yeah, exactly. So but then going back earlier to say that because we can trust the aeroplane and how the aeroplane works, that therefore when another aspect of science, remember the physics, the biology and the chemistry is not the same as cosmology or these kind of this is basically getting into metaphysics.
Cosmology is not metaphysics, it's physics.
Okay, but it's getting into metaphysics. That's what I mean.
No.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Let me explain why.
There's no scientist who would say that.
They might not say it, and I'm not. That's the thing. I'm not blind following whatever. Not everything a scientist says is true, is it?
Agreed.
And not everything that a science says is science, is it? A science may hold an opinion that's not necessarily science.
Then it's bad science.
Exactly. Okay, so what we need to distinguish is what is the hardcore science, i.e. the observation, experimentation, repeatability, and what are the statements of scientists. Once we distinguish that, we're now not blind followers of, because scientists say it, we believe it. Bring forth your evidence. What is the actual proof you're bringing? Now, if you're bringing speculative you're speculating on how to explain something, I can explain how the cake came around using purely material means, without any knowledgeable agent. A cake's made, going back to our example, a cake is made, I can explain how it came about with eliminating my aunt. My aunt had no input in it. I can explain it only materialistically. Is that possible?
I don't think so.
You can say, for example, you can come up with any kind of wild theory.
How would your cake, I'm now playing devil's advocate in your position,
yeah.
How would you explain the existence of a cake without human design?
Yeah, you could. If your starting point is that there is, if your starting point, as in wedding cake.
How would you explain the existence of a wedding cake without human design?
Yeah, if I wanted to, my starting point is that there was no knowledgeable input in that. That's my religious belief, for example. I have a religious belief that no human had an input in this cake. Could I explain it if I wanted to?
Yeah, I'm waiting. Can you?
No. Is it possible?
No, I don't think so.
It is possible. You can make up any explanation.
You can make a good explanation.
Yeah, but you can make an explanation. I can explain a book coming about by a tree falling and
a lot of ink happened to fall.
Exactly. You can do that if you wanted to.
But in terms of the probability, we're weighing how cogent an argument.
Exactly. You're actually arguing for my case.
I know.
We're looking at it. Yeah. So this is the point. I can explain it using mental gymnastics and jumping through hoops and invoking certain laws that.
You want to do Occam's razor, except it does seem that what's come out of science is an understanding that the laws of physics can self-generate. Incredible though that seems to be.
Okay, so who's told you this?
Feynman, the Nobel Prize winning physicist.
And how did they? So they've got a Nobel Prize, okay?
Yeah.
Does that mean whatever they say is true? It doesn't. Okay.
So what means I probably shouldn't just ignore them.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Predicting the future, I'll keep listening.
So what evidence did they give you that this was the model? That this was the actual way that it came about? How did they explain that it came about from what? What was the explanation? The laws of physics came into existence. How did they? You're postulating that in this debate, and you're not a blind follower. You're not just blind following them.
No.
So you must understand the evidence that they have as to why they put this forward, because you're now putting it forward. So I'm going to ask you, what was their evidence that you've understood from them as to how these laws just popped into existence?
Now it unfortunately has to be metaphysics. Now we do have to.
Hang on. No. Sorry. That's not science, is it?
No, it's not.
Okay, so stick to the science, be consistent, and let's.
Okay, the scientific view would be it just is that way because I kind of have to go metaphysics. Let me see if you'll accept my.
I won't expect no metaphysics. Sorry, this is the discussion now. We're working on your parameters.
Well, they're just saying the maths works, therefore accept it.
So the maths perfect.
Maths works.
Excellent.
Okay?
So now let me give you.
It really, really does. I mean, it really works. It's terrifying. I'm not also assuming, in 1 minute, we're having a discussion where I'm not assuming necessarily the Big Bang in the sense that there was nothing, then there was a Big Bang. There's a number of different models.
Exactly. I mentioned some earlier and you kind of shot me down on it, so I don't know what. Yeah, you shot me when I mentioned Lawrence.
I think you debate well.
Yeah, when I mentioned Lawrence Krauss's point, you kind of shot me down on that. And I said this is a number of competing models.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you kind of shot me down on that one, but now you're invoking it. And you're invoking it now, which is a bit inconsistent. You're a good man. I understand you've got you're a good sparring partner, put it that way. So I understand we've got a common ground that we can work with. But again, how did they explain that to you? What was their belief?
Their discipline requires only that they say we have the maths. The maths works.
Okay.
It's not our job to contextualize the maths.
That's fine.
What we're handing you is the microchip, the laser,
that's fine.
The power to fly.
That's
it
fine.
Works, and you guys work out what you think it means.
That's fine. I mentioned earlier that I accept the hardcore science. Okay. The hardcore science. As for speculative science, that could be based upon material assumptions or philosophical assumptions, I'm not actually bound to accept that. Not everything a scientist says is science. Some of it is a lot of philosophy. Okay? So I'm going back. Interesting. I'm going to come to the mathematics. Now this is actually absolutely they've proved it using mathematics. Okay. Now this power of proof using mathematics, I'm going to question that. But before I do that, I want to know, what have you understood from their mathematics? What is in their mathematics that allows you to do that? Have you just repeated the word mathematics?
No. As I said, the fact that maths can predict the future and make things work, and it's entirely self-consistent. except unfortunately it totally defies common sense. The deeper you go into science, particularly quantum physics, the more you discover, and this is where we have to, I think, touch on metaphysics, if you don't mind, for a minute.
No. I wanted to do it earlier.
Okay,
you shut me down.
No matter when we bring
so let's go back to it.
Because I, like I guess you, were interested in understanding what does this bloody maths mean?
Yeah.
A lot of scientists go, our discipline doesn't require that we give an explanation. They always were.
They always exist. They always existed.
Your assumption,
in one shape, one or form.
Yeah.
Your assumption that there must have been something before may just be a false common sense assumption. Like, I have a common sense assumption.
I'm going by your terms. Sorry, I was picking up on your terms. Your terms were that these laws came into existence.
No, I'm trying to say that they didn't. I'm trying to say that maybe they didn't.
And therefore we've also
hang on. So we. Look at this. I've got a brolly. I'm not using it. No. We're trying to be. If we're trying to be smart, then we should use a brolly if we've got one. Yeah, we'll put it in the middle. No. It's fine. So, okay. So how do they explain that using maths?
Explain what?
That these laws have always been there. Because earlier you said that they came into existence, which I'm fine. I'm saying there's a number of competing models. Stand closer to the it's fine. Yeah. So there's a number of competing models that they've all put forward. Now, if their starting point is that there is no supernatural, or there is no creator, or there is no kind of deity, and that's your starting point, and we're going to only explain it using matter, like I said earlier, then of course you can explain it how you want. You can explain away the beginning of this universe using only matter, only energy, and they've done that, of course. Yeah. Now, this takes us away from this natural inference that we can see the effects of knowledge, we can see the effects of intent, we can see purpose, we can see information in our DNA. Now, this implies that there is a knowledgeable creator with an intent that has informed us or put these things in. This is the natural information. So I'm asking, how do you go away from that? And then you've said that the scientists who have given us our planes and our medicine and stuff, they've also, people in the same field or in the same education, academia, they've also put forward another position that the universe came into existence, which you said earlier, or okay, there's
not say that.
You said it earlier, but I'm trying to cover all of them. But that is actually one of the beliefs, one of the models.
No, I'm saying that there is a model which says it always was.
Yeah, and that's steady state theory. That's a steady state theory. Fred Hoyle put this forward in the 60s. He was the one that coined the term Big Bang as a mockery of I think it was Lemaitre's model, and this was the Big Bang model.
I'm impressed you know that.
Why wouldn't I know that? If I'm talking,
hands up who knew that.
That Lemaitre put forward the Big Bang.
Yeah,
there's quite a few people that would know that, I'm
just
sure.
Just a quick question regarding intelligent design.
I'm mid-flow.
Human beings.
Okay, huh? You'll be next.
Human beings create human beings.
Can human beings create human beings?
Are scientists currently creating human beings?
Are they creating human beings? Yes. Okay, so this is where my theology comes in.
Even robots.
Hang on. My theology comes in, and my belief as a Muslim. If you're asking me where do I get my beliefs from, I'm not just purely basing it on science or pure philosophy. Okay, my starting point is my religion. Okay, now I haven't argued with you using any verses of the Quran or any quotes of the Prophet Muhammad. I'm appealing to something that we all share, because you may not believe in the Quran. Yeah. Now, in the Quran, if you're asking me what my belief is on this, in the Quran, it makes a challenge that you cannot create a fly. So when you say that we've created human beings, can you give an example?
Well, there are robots out there, there are sex dolls out there.
Okay, that's a robot.
Exactly the same way.
That's a robot. That's a robot.
Really? Yeah.
Hang on. Is a robot or a human?
Sorry?
Is a robot a human?
It does everything a human does.
No,
It
but
responds.
it's not
No.
It's not a human.
No, it's not.
Working on
And this is the point. Hang on. This is the point.
Babies will be a human. Sex doll, forget it.
Hang on. Look at this. And that's actually taking something that is organic. That's taking life. Hang on. No. Human interference. Hang on. You're throwing these things. No. Let me just adjust this. Let me adjust this, because you can't just throw these things out and then just walk with them. Okay. I've asked you, for example, where scientists have created humans. You said no, they've created robots. That's fine. Robots. What are they mimicking? Humans. So now we're using all of our knowledge, all of our intent, and all of our technical ability, i.e. our power, to mimic something.
Well, not all of, only 20%.
So we're using well, they're not making it in Shepherd's Bush in
Dolphins.
Hang on. Don't go for the tangent. They're not making this in where I'm from, in the hood. They're making these in the science labs with the biggest budgets. With the so let's say that they're putting the most amount of their effort, the most amount of their knowledge, and the most amount of their technical ability to mimic something. Yeah. But you're postulating that something came about with no knowledge. You're getting sold. Yeah. So you're saying that this came about with no knowledge, no purpose. What you've said is a proof for me, because you're saying, hang on, they create humans. Well, actually, they didn't create humans, but they created robots. This is called biomimicry. Hang on. This is called biomimicry, where we mimic biology, using all of our knowledge, all of our power, all of our ability, and our best of our intention. But yet the thing that we're mimicking came about with no knowledge, no power, no intention. This is a proof for what I'm saying.
I've got to say, no offence, I think you just used the worst possible example you could use. I really don't want to be associated with that one.
And about the embryo, you mentioned the test tube babies. Yeah, okay, what is a test tube baby?
What I'm trying to make is
a sperm from a man and a womb already, and where they meet is in a test tube. It's not natural, no. But hang on. But are they making these things? The sperm exists. Okay.
Well, that could be said about anything. This umbrella was made by elements that are available everywhere across the world, right? The metals.
All of this is my point. All of this is my point.
A human still can create something.
All of this is my point. All of this, not from nothing. Not from nothing. Can we make a fly?
From nothing.
Can we make a fly?
Something can pop from nothing.
Okay. Hang on. Wait. Because I said this earlier, and I think you agreed with him when. I don't want to say you shot me down because that's too blunt, but when you disagreed with me, you kind of agreed with him on that. And I said this is one of the competing models. I don't believe this, but I'm talking about from the scientific view, this is a competing theory that Lawrence Krauss kind of put in, but you kind of disagreed with me on that. And now you're saying it yourself.
Something can pop up from nothing.
Okay.
Right now.
So why did you disagree with me earlier then? Well, I don't believe that, by the way.
No, I was nodding and reacting, obviously nodding, but...
Okay, so something can come from nothing.
I can give an example.
Okay, give me an example.
So you have a jar.
Yeah?
Yeah, a jar of jam. You've got this much jam in there. You've closed it up. After like 1 week you open it, and there's this white stuff.
No, that's still bacteria.
That's still bacteria. That's still bacteria.
So
that's just.
It's not nothing.
I can go back and say that everything popped up. All these, we all existed from stuff in the air and bacteria that reacted, and everything came to existence.
Yeah. So what does nothing mean to you?
That white stuff.
What does nothing mean to you?
Sorry.
What is nothing?
Just nothing.
The absence of anything.
Yeah.
Including potential.
Yeah, absence.
Okay.
So
Stop. It doesn't have the potential.
You've really nailed it.
It doesn't have the potential. But it became.
No, because you got that jam. Okay, and then suddenly this white stuff pops up.
Oh, I'm gonna have to. I've said it a few times.
The white stuff.
I said it a few times. I said it a few times now. I'm not gonna go over it.
We're surrounded by air. We're surrounded by nitrogen.
I'm not
gonna. It means no matter and no
energy. Energy has always existed. So there's always been something there.
Okay, let me just pull you up.
Yeah.
But you know, matter and energy are interchangeable.
Not something.
This is the point that I was trying to mention earlier. It's actual physical laws, is what he says.
So this is why I think.
Let me just finish my point. Because you mentioned something earlier. Yeah. Sorry, I'm dealing with a few points. I'm trying to juggle. Yeah. So you mentioned earlier about the law of thermodynamics. You invoked the law of thermodynamics. That matter second law of thermodynamics. That matter can neither be created nor destroyed.
Energy.
Matter and energy can neither be created or destroyed. That's the actual quote. Okay. The actual quote is, in a closed system, matter can neither be created or destroyed. That's the full quote. Okay. Now,
I think that's the second one.
That's the second law of thermodynamics. Yeah. That's what.
Second law is entropy. Second law is entropy.
Entropy increases.
Yeah, that's fine.
You're doing first law.
Yeah, so the first one.
But I never said second. You said second, and I went with it. Sorry. I was. Anyway, you messed me up. Anyway, so what I'm saying is this. Now, this is in a closed system.
Yeah.
What other types of system are there? That's a good one. Yeah. Okay, what else? What else?
Well, I mean, the Earth is talk about.
Hang on. Let's understand what are the types of system, and then we can, because this law doesn't apply absolutely. It applies. There's a certain definition. In a closed system, matter can neither be created or destroyed. So I've asked you what other types of system are there. The opposite of closed is open, so that's a good start. Is there any other ones that you can think of?
No.
Isolated is another one. So these are the three types: open, closed, and isolated. Do you know what a definition of a closed system is?
Being isolated, that could be the same.
No. Because these words have certain definitions. Isolated system is not the same as a closed system. Okay. This is like basic physics. Okay. This is like, I think they do this in A levels and stuff. Okay. So let's just give common day examples. I've given these examples before.
Singularity?
No.
It's
Simple
an isolated system.
Simple in this. You're at home. You've got a pot on a stove. You've got some nice soup in there. You've turned it on. The soup is boiling. Now we've got steam. Okay, we'll just say water. Just make it easy.
Energy.
So we've got exactly. So the steam would be the matter because it's particles of water, and the heat would be the energy. Now heat and energy is going in and out. That's our open system. You then put a lid on it to make it boil faster. What's that? That's a closed system. Where and what is the closed system?
It can't be destroyed or destroyed.
Does the matter come out? Does the matter go in and out?
No, just closed.
No.
But the energy does.
The energy does. So that's closed. And what's isolated? Where we sum it all over and we say that neither matter or energy can come in or out.
That's why I said singularity.
That's fine. But to give an example that they... Wow, this rain, I just noticed. It was pouring down.
There are areas here which have got cut.
Yeah.
You don't have to stand in
Get damaged.
What's over there?
Yeah, he's got his cover on.
Like it just get wet.
So this was the point, that an isolated, a kind of practical example they would give, the closest kind of real life example they can give is like a flask. But eventually a flask does let energy out over a long term.
Yeah, before you go into the details, one thing I think is going to come back round to, and the science is conclusive on this, is whether the universe is a closed or an open system or an isolated system, so we don't know.
That's fine. But let's not evoke a law.
Yeah, I don't think you should, because you don't know what it is.
Exactly. So what we're saying is that we can observe all the hallmarks of knowledge, all the hallmarks of intent, and all the hallmarks of power. Now, based upon this, we naturally infer there's a creator.
No, you would say natural.
Me. I'm talking about me.
It's the first step.
Yeah.
I'll go with that.
But I'm still waiting for what is the maths that kind of takes us away from this natural inference.
I don't think it's the maths which will give the answer.
But
the answer that will come is this: given
you've said the maths though.
You've said that naturally we come to the idea of a creator when we look at an umbrella and so on. And I agree with you on the surface. Yes? But actually, the problem, it may well be the problem is like this. On the surface, the Earth is flat. Trust me. Okay? All the evidence when I look at it tells me it's flat. All my intuition, all of my evolutionary development, it's useful for me to think in those terms. I function best thinking it's flat. Actually, the bloody thing's round. I've got to make, so my common sense may not be the best judge.
That's fine.
And I think the idea that in the beginning there had to be a creator is a similar common sense fallacy to this, because the one thing you learn from the maths and the physics is you cannot trust your common sense. Have you seen the double slit experiment?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, this stuff. Once you start seeing the double slit experiment, delayed choice quantum eraser and this stuff, and you listen to Feynman and the Nobel-winning Feynman, who was the expert on particle physics, he said, the one thing I know about quantum physics is nobody understands quantum physics. And he was the expert. So the one lesson you learned is you cannot trust your common sense. And your axiom that when we look at the universe, we see something is designed, therefore common sense says there was a design.
And natural explanation,
maybe a flawed axiom. It's possible.
Okay, so what I'm saying is you need to come kind of give us something that is a bit stronger than saying the maths prove it. Earlier, this is what you said. The maths that because we were asking about how we came into existence, and you said, well, Big Bang, and I said, okay, what about Big Bang? And you said, well, actually, it could be another thing other than Big Bang, a steady state model. And then we said the maths kind of proved it. So I'm just flowing with what you said. Let me just finish.
I could represent my position on this accurately first.
Let me just finish. This is what you've said.
I know, but it may have been misquoted, or I may have said it wrong.
Let me just finish. Okay. So now, when you said the maths, I said, what is it in the maths that could make you believe that this universe was eternal?
And I'm saying it's not in the maths. Their answer is it's not our job to answer that. You have to go to psychology. So
then we've gone full circle and we've came back to what I started in the beginning, that this is not a scientific question.
I agree, but we had to get there by a particular route.
We didn't have to get there. We didn't have to get there.
We did.
We didn't have to get there. I simply said at the beginning that this is not a scientific question.
What was the question?
How we came into existence, how this world came into existence.
No, hang on. How we come into existence is a scientific question.
Hang on. So we said that science science is the study of the physical world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Measurable,
physical
I would
objects,
say.
yeah.
Anything that can be measured,
Yeah.
not physical, anything that
Matter
can
and
be measured.
energy.
Anything that could be measured.
Measured.
Matter
Anything
and
that can be
energy.
measured is a question science can answer. Or can look
Anything that can be measured.
measured, yes.
Empirical.
Okay. So
Matter and energy, can we not just call it that? Because matter and energy are interchangeable, so they're one thing. Einstein showed you turn matter into energy equals mc squared, so actually it's one thing. We have matter stroke energy and they're the same thing. Science studies.
let me just give one example. What's your favourite car? Beautiful, best car you can think of.
Porsche 911,
And give me a car that you don't like.
Fiat Punto.
Why is this one better than this one?
Faster, looks nice. I don't know.
So, perfect. It looks nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so it looks nicer.
Yeah.
Can you measure how that niceness? Okay, how?
So there's something called the golden ratio.
Golden ratio.
Golden ratio.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So designers, especially architects, Aston Martin designers,
Yeah.
they look at certain.
Beautiful words. I love the words you're using. Beautiful words. Do we find golden ratio in nature?
Yes, we do.
Okay. So.
Flowers and petals.
Okay.
And branches.
So what would that imply? Designer.
Okay, now there's a huge jump.
No.
I've been consistent. I've been consistent. You're bound by your materialism. You're bound by your materialism. How would you prove supernatural exists?
Can it be measured?
Okay. Can it?
Can I measure it? Otherwise, if I can't measure it, how do I know it exists?
Okay. So
It
does
may
does
exist
does
just because you
does
can't measure
does
it, doesn't
only
mean it doesn't exist.
does only hang on
If I
does only
can't
matter
measure-
exist?
Sorry?
Does only matter exist?
Can you tell me something else that doesn't?
No.
Isn't matter that exists?
No. Are you open to the possibility that other than matter
I'm
exists?
open as long as it can be measured.
And again, this is the flawed logic. Watch this.
Okay, why
Watch
is it
this. Watch this. Because you're saying that if it can be measured, it's science.
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
in the domain
Oh,
of
It's a
okay.
domain of science,
Okay.
yeah.
And you're saying that if the supernatural may exist, but we can only know if it exists if it can be measured.
Can you tell me another way?
Hang on.
Well, yeah, okay, that's- I agree with that. Yes, that's what I'm saying.
So you're saying you're trying to explain. You're trying to observe the non-physical by using science, which is the study of the physical world.
Yeah, you're wrong.
You're using. You're not open to it. You're not open to
Give me another method then.
your reason.
You're
Your reason.
denying
Your
metaphysics.
reason.
No, so, okay, hold on.
Your reason.
Okay, hold on.
Physics
hold
has,
on,
listen,
hold on, 2 seconds.
physics has a domain. It has a sphere within which it operates. Yeah. Metaphysics is the domain that doesn't cover. For example, your feelings, your beliefs. You have beliefs.
Yeah,
Yes?
science can cover that.
No.
No, it doesn't. No, it
you
doesn't.
cannot measure
No,
your
it doesn't.
beliefs, Okay. It has no mass and no energy. I have beliefs. You have. I have beliefs. Consciousness. Consciousness. Maybe let's say a belief. It's a
hard
property of
problem.
consciousness.
Like, so look,
Okay, so you have beliefs. They cannot be measured by scientists, but they are real.
Look.
They exist
Yeah.
phenomenologically.
You've got a lovely
So
jacket.
we're within
You've got a lovely
metaphysics.
jacket. I wish I had it right now because I'm still getting it. Yeah.
you got an umbrella. You wear them
Yeah.
in the jacket.
It says it's got some words in it. Jack Wolfskin. Okay. I don't know the make. Looks good anyway. Yeah. But this Jack Wolfskin, what is that? That I came to know of this Jack
Language,
Wolfskin.
words.
These words.
Yeah.
What are they? This is basically shapes.
Yeah.
Okay. Where did
Abstract.
where did I get the meaning from?
The meaning of the words.
Yeah. Is the meaning okay? What aspect of science does the meaning break down into? Is it the chemistry? Can I do?
Linguistics, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah,
Okay, and what is that?
the
What is that?
evolution of
What is that? What is that?
What
What science is that? Is it if you're basically there's a thing called irreducible complexity? No,
Yeah, irreducible complexity, Darwin's black box.
that basically no. There's another thing that I'm trying to think of. Not irreducible complexity, a reductionism.
Okay.
That everything can be reduced into simple explanations, falling into chemistry, physics, and biology, i.e., matter, the things that govern matter. Okay. What is it in matter that I get this word Jack Wolfskin? Wolf skin. Let's just go with that. Wolf. I know what a wolf is, and I know what the skin is. Okay. These are just shapes on your jacket. Where do I get that meaning from? Is it the physics?
No, it's not.
No,
Is
it's
it
not.
is it the biology?
No, but you're giving me 3 options now only.
Then what is it? What is it?
You're,
If it's not, then
it's in psychology, but what
Yeah,
we've,
so that's
we've made a bridge between neurology and psychology, and neurology is within the domain of physics and matter. So you're creating an absolute divide between the world of metaphysics and physics, but I think we've already established that the world of matter interfaces clearly with
I'm not
the world.
because I've got no problem using the physics. That jacket is keeping you from the cold. Yeah, that's perfect. But what I'm saying is this is not the only way we can look at that jacket.
Agreed.
Yeah. So let's take a car, the Aston Martin that you said.
Yeah.
I can look at that and I can explain it using the physics of it. I can explain how it came about using physical, the physical means, the physics, the biology, the chemistry that goes on in the engine. Okay, but does that negate that is a product of a knowledgeable creator, a knowledgeable agent? There's no contradiction. So we can use the science in our day-to-day life. We absolutely, in fact, if you look at it, the person that coined the scientific method and came up with it was a Muslim scholar, or a scholar from the Muslim lands. Okay, I don't know what his actual beliefs were, but
I think we're getting conflated. Maybe I'm getting confused, right? Maybe I missed something, right? When it comes to metaphysics, there's no way of measuring, there's no way of knowing.
No, exactly.
Right?
That's the
so
problem.
that's where I start off as. Second point.
hang on.